It is a beautiful day. The sky is beautiful. The wind is beautiful. It's supposed to be beautiful all the way until sunset and beyond. So what I'm going to be doing right now is I'm going to pre-flight my paramotor, make sure everything's good, show you what I do to get prepared to go out and fly. Once we get out into the field, I'll show you how I set up, and then we'll go fly around and we'll show you the landing too. So I'm gonna get everything ready. First and foremost, I have my helmet in here that I have plugged in, so I know it's always charged. Inside my helmet, I always make sure I have a spare sunglasses, and I have earplugs, because earplugs and those, I don't have to worry about my ears ringing all the time. I'm also bringing my little bicycle flight deck thing because I lost my phone last time. I ain't gonna do that again. I always have a mask just in case. To put this around my neck and use this camera here as my video camera. That way my phone is in the flight deck and I don't have to worry about losing it again. I got my wing and I got a dolly just in case I land so far away from the LZ. I have a way of getting it back here and I don't have to kill my back. My power pack I have plugged in here. This is for emergency charging of my phone and plugging in my lights on the paramotor. So in here I have my phone, and I also, not my phone, my battery pack. I have my battery pack, and I have these two lights that I'll put up here. There'll be additional flashing when I go flying it in the evening after sunset. So everybody has a different way of filling up their tank. This is the way that I fill up my tank. I have a 1 gallon that I have mixed, and then I turn this, because, you know, it's one of those non-leak ones, which is really awesome. I just turn it upside down, and then I just sort of just hold it right there because it's just leaning up against that thing, which starts the flow. The oil that I use, I keep on pouring it into here because I know it makes exactly a 50-to-1 ratio, and that's what I've been using so far. And then after I put this in, I put a dash of sea foam into it. Splash. Mix it all up. And then we're going to top off this tank. And this tank will be 2.5 gallons. And I always make sure that I put the cap on after I fill up and make sure it's nice and hand tight. Always, always, always. Then I'm going to go through here, the springs, make sure the springs are good, everything's tight. I got this right here that has all of my tools in it. All my spare parts are in here. And we are going to make sure that these are all tight first. It's always surprising how loose they are after flying. So now I'm going to go through and double check everything else. Once again, always surprising how these things are slightly loose after flying. And I definitely don't want to not double check them. Okay, bolt. Where's the other ones? Head bolts are good. That's good. Also, too, I always check, make sure this is on tight. Now, I've never had any problem with these two being loose at all, but I just like to double check. Make sure, yeah, they're tight as can be. So I got my tools, my pair of tools, and my emergency extras. A little bit of extra gas, which I may not need, we'll find out. I always go around and double check to make sure that, you know, nothing is starting to fray, you know, on the harness. Make sure it's, kind of dirty, but it's not frayed. There's nothing is wrong. Everything is, just make sure everything looks right and feels right. sure there's nothing frayed on the dog bones. This is something separate, but this really works great. I always double check to make sure that's on there good. This thing's really nice. I really like it because I can put my sunglasses in when it starts getting dark and turn on my lights. All right, let's go ahead and clamp everything on there. Use these right here. They're just ones I get from Walmart. They are 1,000-pound test load, so each. There's no 1,000 pounds on this thing. I use this to put on here and then just double check to make sure this thing's on tight. Because with this on, even if everything else came undone, it's not going to fall off. Put one on the front there, and I put one back here. And it's good. I don't tighten this thing up tight. I keep this just kind of snug. I can still kind of put my finger underneath there. So I don't want a lot of tension on this because I don't want it to rip. But with everything all tied down, the prop actually spins and misses that. So I can actually start it on the rack. Okay, after everything is tied up, I'm going to double check to make sure that goes in and out 100%, and now that it's locked so it doesn't actually go full throttle. As you can see over here too, there's a lot of air in the line, so there's one thing that we can do to fix that. What we're going to do is we're going to push this in as we prime the primer, and what that did is it pushed a lot of fuel in the carburetor. All right, so we're gonna make sure the dogs are not around. We're gonna make sure that this thing spins freely and it's not gonna clip anything. We made sure that this was locked. And we are going to clear prop. Interesting, just trying to start it, that's almost 1,000 RPM. Airplane. So as you can see, I didn't go full throttle, but I went about 5,300 RPM. It works. I didn't want to put this all the way on here and drive where I'm going to drive, and I can't even start it. So that's why I pre-started it. So everything is packed up. We have our wing, our dolly. We have our window meter. We have a helmet. We have boots, which is really important. I got my helmet and I am good to go. So I'm gonna slap this all together, upload it real quick, and head on out and go flying this afternoon. So we'll see you there in a little bit.